everybody. Welcome back to the Codex Station Review Time. I am Sal, the Slab Guy. Joining me with me is Precious right over here, and we're going to be reviewing the story, The Exiled. How you doing tonight, Precious?
I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. Are you ready to give this story a review?
Yes, definitely.
Awesome. But first, let's get some business out of the way. You can always find us on any social media if you go over to @theCodexStation. Do the search for @theCodexStation and click like, share, and subscribe. That's the best way to reach us and the best way to get notifications from us. But you can also go over to thecodexstation.com, check out the team, get some merch, and so much more. All right, so now that the business is out of the way, let's talk about the story. This is called The Exiles, and the credits are going to go to, the story is actually from Wesley Snipes, Adam Lawson, and Keith Iram. And the scripts and letters are done by Adam Lawson, and the art is done by Gabriel Santos. Colors are by Valentini Bianconi. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And the editor, of course, is Michael Calero. So with that out of the way, let me give you a brief intro to the story. Snipes created the story along with Adam Lawson and PCB Entertainment's president Keith Aram, and Lawson adapted the script to be a comic book. Santos, of course, is providing the art, and the project was initially launched independently as a Kickstarter campaign, but eventually it turned into a publishing launch, and it was due out. It came out like last year, I believe, 2023, September 2023. But I believe there is a trade paperback coming out this year as well, containing all 6 issues. So this is a graphic novel by Wesley Snipes about a detective, Niles Roach Washington, who's pursuing a serial killer after a deadly gas attack. And he's discovering things on the way, that the killer is using a tool that's over 5,000 years old. He had some outlandish theories. The police don't like his theories. And it's like one of those murder mystery type things that just keeps getting deeper and deeper, like conspiracy theory type situation, you know? And it's actually pretty good. It uncovers Earth's darkest secret, and the whole time he is always trying to come out of his father's shadow. So that's pretty much a synopsis of the story. But let me get your opinion on this, Precious. What did you think of the story? Tell me, what did you like about it?
Well, I really liked that he went back into his dad's past and he learned a little bit more about he had said that his dad had mentioned things to him, and then later he found out like what was really true and that what his dad wasn't really telling him.
Yep. It was like one of those things where the more he dug, the more questions came up.
Yeah.
So it also gets. I guess he encounters this upgrade or this power, I guess, to where he can form like bone armor around him, and he learns to control that towards the later half of these issues. You don't really see that come around, I think, until like issue number 3, I believe. But the whole power set and the whole conspiracy thing really starts to pick up speed. I want to say like around the 3rd issue. And then that's when he was really started digging into his father's past. His father was a cop before him, and he's always trying to get out from his shadow because he's trying to be like his father, because he thought his father was an excellent cop, which of course he was, because of all the uncovering of these secrets that he was finding. And so he was following the same trail as his father. And as he goes on, he realizes that this serial killer is not really our bad guy per se, that there's another bad guy or bad group of people that are also trying to wreak havoc. So let's talk about the artwork. Oh, see, she didn't like that either. So let's talk about the artwork. What do you think about the art?
I thought the art was. I liked a lot of the details, like the little details, like the blood and the spine and how they did it so that it was a double spine. And I thought that was really cool. So I gave it an 8 out of 10. But one thing that I didn't like is in issue 3, there's that important part that happens where he finally figures out like the bone armor where it explodes out of his arm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They switch it to first person for one panel, and it confused me. I had to ask Jamie. I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, yep. I actually felt the same way. I remember that panel very much. I feel like I don't know. I gave the art a 6 out of 10, just because I felt like they were trying to do too much in the situation. There was a lot of blood and gore, which I don't mind at all. I kind of like that, that kind of like kept the score at where I said 6. It reminded me of Swamp Thing Green Hell, if you've ever read that, with all the blood and gore. But yeah, when they started doing that and they switched that panel, and there was also some panels where I guess if he was like opening something or breaking something, you would see the word crack or squeak or twist type of thing. It was like written in
Mhm.
on the panels. I didn't care for that. I felt that kind of brought that away from the what the panel was trying to say to me. Give me a
Yeah.
sound effect. Give me a sound effect written out instead of saying what the actual word was. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of nitpicking, but I didn't like that, and I thought some of the artwork was too much, where there was too much going on, and there was confusing of what was actually you were trying to focus on. You know,
Yeah.
and that one switch. I remember that panel where you
Yep.
switched to that first person view. It was kind of like, what? Wait, hold on a second. And I went back a
Yeah.
page or two, and I okay, all right, now I got this. That type of situation.
Yeah, I felt like it like interrupted my flow of the book and I
Yep.
didn't like that at all. And there were a couple other times that I kind of got lost on where like what was actually going on.
Right. Right. I felt like that too. I did. Yeah, and the artwork wasn't intuitive enough to let the reader go to the next panel easily.
Mhm.
You had like go okay, all right, that type of thing. I felt like each new panel was like so much input that you had to like okay, let me just look at the page for a minute. Okay, all right, and then I can read the text and get like the background to what was going on. So I felt like the
Mhm.
artwork was not the greatest, but it didn't, and I not because of the blood and gore, because I don't mind that. It just felt like it didn't flow easily enough,
Mhm.
you know, and and like I said, I went back a page or two and I went back through it again, and it was okay, but to do that kind of brings you out of the story, and I like to
Mhm.
go straight to the story,
Yep.
front to finish, easy enough. So let's talk about the story. What did you give the story? What do you think about that?
I would give this story I would give it like a 7 out of 10 just
Yep.
because there were some things that they like I felt wasn't explained enough
Yep.
and I felt like I was missing something all the time. And then they would explain a little bit and then they would just keep going and I
Like
felt it
jump
was
on, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, exactly. So I didn't really enjoy that. I liked the base of the story. I thought it was good, line, but some of the like nitpicking little details like it could have been better.
Right. Right. And I'm going to actually have to agree with you not only on those points, but on the rating as well. I gave it a 7 as well. And it was exactly that. It felt like you were not giving enough detail of what was going on. And then they started to give you that detail. And then they were like, boop. And they just jumped onto the next scene and moved on. I felt like the first 3 issues were good as like a buildup. But then the last 3 issues were like cram, 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 cram. And they crammed everything in there where they could have made this if they made this like I don't know, a 9 maxi series maybe, or if they sped up the first 3 issues a little bit,
Mhm.
then they could keep it to the 6. But I don't know. I felt like it got to issue 3, and all of a sudden it was like then you were boom on issue 6. It sped up so much between 3 and 6 that I felt like I was rushed.
Yeah.
You were giving me a story and everything at this pace, and all of a sudden, now we're at the end. That type of thing. It's like I don't know. I didn't care for it. I liked like you. I liked the base thought of the story. I thought that could be a really good potential. Maybe if it was like a little bit more ongoing series, you could have stayed
Mhm.
at that same pace as the first 3 issues, and then kept going until whatever conclusion you want to go to, and how many issues that is whatever it is. But yeah, I think they crammed too much in the final 3 issues instead of kind of spreading it out more, or uh, making it a longer series, or spreading it out more over the 6.
Mhm.
So my uh my story arc rating is 7 out of 10. All right. So how about we go ahead and give it an overall rating then?
So then my overall rating would be a 10. or a
Out of 10?
7.5 out of 10.
7.5 out of 10? All right.
Yeah. The
Okay.
other thing I didn't like is how they ended this sixth book, which I'm not going to say it, but I didn't like that. I hated it.
Yeah, I didn't care for that either. It didn't really. I don't want to say it didn't wrap it up, but it kind of like I don't know. It could have been ended a little bit better. Let's just leave it at
Yes.
that. Let's just leave it at that. Um, for my rating, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 because that's the average between my two scores. Um, would you recommend this series to somebody else? That's the big question.
Yeah, I think I would, depending on like what they're into reading. But I definitely feel like you have to really dig into it. And I'm hoping that they are going to come out with more issues to help explain the rest of the story and finish it.
Right. Yep. I have to 100% agree with that. Yes, I would recommend this book to people, depending on their genre or what they like. If they're strictly like superhero genre or something like that, I probably would not. But if they're more into the supernatural, conspiracy theory, alien type of situation, I would recommend this book then. So yeah, and I totally agree with you that I wish if they come out with more issues to this, maybe giving a little bit more deep dive into that power set that he has now, and a little bit more on the conspiracy theory situation, and even more detail on his father's background. I mean, definitely, there could be a whole series or a whole mini series just on his father's story alone,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they alluded to, and I felt like I was missing something there, when they they briefed on it, but they didn't go to deep dive on it. And I'm like, I really could have used that as a prequel to this series. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's how I feel about it. I would recommend it if I knew that person was into that type of genre.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. So I think this goes ahead and wraps it up. Do you have any final thoughts? Any final thoughts on this? Did you like how Wesley Snipes was a one of the contributing factors on this? I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Um, I don't think so. I definitely hope that they make another series, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think they will either, but here's hope. Here's hoping. I,
Yeah.
I like the fact that Wesley Snipes was on here. I mean, I haven't really seen much of him since the Blade days, you might say. But yeah, so having him on the story kind of like that drew me into that too because I always thought he was a great action type fighter movie guy. So I'd be interested to see more of it if it's going to be released. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap this one up. I'm Sal's Lab Guy. I gave this one a 6.5. Precious, what was your rating again? Did you say 7.5?
Yes.
7.5 out of 10. All right, very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around and checking out this review of The Exiled. Once again, you can always find us at thecodexstation.com or go on to any social media, hit at the Codex Station to see more reviews like this one. Take care, everybody, and have a great day.
Um, my name's Precious, and so are you.
Very good. Take care, everybody.